Ebusuya mema wakwaba edewoba version media GH na se any first time we share video ewa ha message be subscribe like video no comment na fa share na afoforo nso enye bi share. Ebusuya video ya oba be share eye old video what you say, but it is worth sharing. It is worth sharing and watching what you say. Omampenyin John Dramani Mahama, the first time as a president, of a city, a year in Nsawam prison. Historic, visit. What you say? Of a city in Nsawam prison. Orewura kona bia. Eno onankasa experiences senior hot here. Any ade. Into video way, it is worth sharing and worth watching, even though it is an old video. It's video way, omucha video way, 3rd July 2015. That was when President John Dramani Mahama visited a year in Nsawam prison. What you say? I'm praying very hard to say ne CCR now sounds so Abba as a president, or sounds so a visited in Nsawam prison. Obviously, those times na social media and share down any what you senior and social media TikTok near the ajibe bia bibia na say trending into way no and share down trendy bisa what you say and share down trendy into it's like a lot of people didn't know that the president visited in Nsawam prison. What you say into way. Wow, I want to share a video no. I'm sharing it with you. This president is a very humble president from the beginning. And yes, this time around, why humble? He's been humble since day one. Until way skills development, skills department. A year in Nsawam prison. What you say? Prisoners, they are not just sitting there idle. Baby or omusua skills yama omusua skills ebi mo nso eco school our prison ho ani ade nti president FCT prison cell what you say prison cell ni mu ankasa president ewure mu eco VCT eco hwe senior cells no inside no tie what you say oko hwe senior cells no inside tie oni inmate ni bia interact ye ni ade achese enye asemketua what you say enti oni inmate ni bi eko interact ye ni ade enti we the president inside one of the cells with 43 inches what you say we represent President Mahama no the humble president will wrap prison inside what you say His Excellency ex-president Nana Danko Akufo-Addo ebeye president mante da say obesity in Nsawam obesity yankameti. I'm not trying to be political here, but I'm just saying something what you say until when so abra inmate ni bi pa president a chel say president Mr. me power chel me power chel anka boa me na me free prison ha boa me na me free efiase ha na me bre ana say ye bre e na je say all kan na kuma so asem e dey che President John Dramani Mahama, the listening president what you say na President Mahama release 400 inmates e wo prison ho what you say intino inmate no any je pa say president etumi visit omu awo prison ho because enye a friend is saying it is not actually common say president ever visit prisoners no regular cells ni inside that ko check senior a hot any ade Charlie President Mahama I salute and your hands your infirmary baby prisoners ni bi yare a yede omo beto ni ade ɛna yɛ president ɛkɔ visit yɛ. What I say? When we say prison hɔ yɛwɔ school wɔ hɔ yɛwɔ asɔre wɔ hɔ biribiara bi wɔ hɔ ɛte sɛ community ɛti wei yɛ prisoners kɔ a kyerɛ sɛ ɔmo to nnwom. What I say? Ɔmo to nnwom ada President John Dramani Mahama sɛ ɔbɛ visit ɔmo abusua mema moma yɛntie nnwom no kakra na yɛntoa so.
Thank you. We take a song. Thank you.
Abusua nti dia wote ye no prison square wate asie omo da efiase a no nkyese omo asai Charlie prison ho de nipa egu ho no nye nipa ato a ti prisoners na egu ho bebre no kyese Charlie enye easy iti aha President Mahama address inmate no moma yentie de okai.
All Ghanaians, no matter where they are or in what circumstances they are. And so the inmates of our prisons are also our citizens, and I'm their president. And that's why it's in order that I came to visit you today. This is the first time I really have come into the prison to see the conditions that exist here. Houses who say today it is Gafili Gadochi Gawuka Ganama. Prisoners are our citizens. And even though one of their rights may have been curtailed, that is the freedom of movement, one of their rights may have been curtailed, it doesn't mean that their rights as human beings and as citizens of our country have been curtailed. And so I've come to see for myself, this is a prison that should house a maximum of 800 people, and it is today housing as many as 3,500 inmates. That is 400% more than it should be accommodating. That is excessive. And we need to take action immediately. Indeed, it is often said that prison exists for all of us, because you don't know what you will do that will end you up here. Indeed, I can say unequivocally that there might be people here who indeed are innocent, but have found themselves here. And so in Tree, when they say, if you see what home it means anybody can end up in this place. And that is why we need to remember that inmates of the prisons also have rights and deserve to live in better conditions than I have come to see today. Last Tuesday, at the invitation of the Prisons Council and the command of the Ghana Prison Service, we launched a project called Project Ifiase. I'm sure you'd have heard about it. It is a project that is meant to raise funds both from government sources and from the private sector to improve the conditions of our prisons. I want, as president and as leader of government, to speak on behalf of government and say that with what I've seen, we have an absolute commitment to contribute towards Project Ifiase to improve the conditions of inmates of our prisons. There are many aspects to this. The first one will be to increase the space for accommodation in this prison. And so in that regard, we're thinking, and we're going to allocate the money to build 2 new blocks in Nsawam prison so that we can move more of the inmates out of the current congestion that you suffer. Aside from that, we will improve the opportunity for prisoners to improve themselves with regards to skills training and with regards to education. I've heard of the very good work that many of you have done in the BEC and the SSC, but you don't have any opportunity to continue. And so we're going to get one of the tertiary institutions to start a distant learning program in prison so that those who pass SSC can continue and get a university degree. We will also improve the welfare of your officers. We cannot improve conditions for inmates without thinking about the officers. Because a well-motivated officer is a good officer to look after inmates. Aside from that, when the Chief Justice spoke, she spoke about what is at your heart, that is the issue of regaining your freedom. And that's why she announced that we're going to build a court here in the prison so that for those of you who want a review of your cases, you can come before the judge and present a petition, and he would look at the circumstances of your incarceration, and if he determines that there are grounds for injustice having taken place, you have the opportunity to regain your freedom. Aside from that, you might have heard that on 1st July, I granted an amnesty to 900 prisoners. Last year, I granted an amnesty to 1,000 prisoners. This year, I've granted an amnesty to 900 prisoners. And I'll have the opportunity to present a certificate of release to one of the prisoners today. But as your representative said, added to this amnesty, we need to look, and I was talking to the Director General, at the possibility of giving remission of sentence for good behavior. And so for those of you who have served a certain part of your sentence and have proven to be reformed and to be of good behavior, we will consider a remission of sentence or an amnesty to allow you to regain your freedom. Let me thank the prison's management for this opportunity and to say that I can't have come without donating a token to you. And so we brought you some items to improve your nutrition. We have 60 bags of rice here, 30 bags of sugar, 50 gallons of oil, and 30 cartons of mackerel. I hope that after my visit, you'll see a visible improvement in the food that is given you because of the items that we have brought here. I feel empathy with you, and I feel empathy with your families. And it is our hope that for those of you who will be released or who will be granted remission, the experience that you have had here will not only be a factor for changing your own conduct, but you will become advocates and ambassadors to educate and make our people aware that they should not be involved in behavior that will end them up in a place like this. You must become ambassadors who go out and prevent our young people from ending up here in prison, because you have come and you have seen and you have experienced for yourself. My understanding is that 400 of you from Nsawam are going home. Out of the 900. And so this is the first certificate of release, and I have the pleasure to present it to Prince Fedua Osei.